Apologize, I was wrong.
I thought about it, right? And after seeing some of the comments yesterday, especially from women who thought it was very misogynistic, a man wanting to know about a lady's good night to my man Shamal boy. Shamal, we had discussions like this all in the gym. But yeah, um, in terms of talking about the misogyny of a man talking about sexual history for a woman, right? Some women went as far as to say, you know what, that ain't got nothing to do with you because unless we're talking about STDs, that ain't got nothing to do with you, right?
Right.
But I thought about it and I really, really gave it a thought. And I came to the conclusion that the reason why because don't get me wrong, I have asked that question before. I'm not proud of it. I've asked that question actually up to very recently, right? And I asked the question, and the person responded with a little hesitation. And I questioned myself as to why I was asking this question. And I was actually ashamed of myself because it's a very lowbrow question. It is a question that is actually a simplified version of what you're looking for. There are several things a man is looking for from his woman. There is, so for me, I asked that question before, not to know that if you were, as you say, known to the streets, or if you know, you whatever. To me, I asked that question because I want to know clearly you're with me or you're interested in being with me, meaning that you've had, especially if you're over the age of 25, right? All of us have had many relationships. All of us have had many sexual relationships. Not all of them have been romantic. Some of them have been casual. We're adults, but let's
Yeah.
be honest. The majority of those would have been a romantic relationship, even if they started off as casual. So then both myself and my partner, potential partner, we are coming as two people that have failed a lot in relationships, in love. Yeah. So for me, I asked that question as a simplified way to find out basically why have what issues do you have, what responsibilities you played in the demises of your relationships. If you understand what I'm saying, because
Okay.
let's be honest, right? Women, you date some women would have had, let's say, 20 partners, right? 20 sexual partners. Out of that, let's say out of that, maybe half or less were in
Actual
romantic
relationships.
relationships. Actually, relationships, right? I would say 5 to 10. Now, why are you single? Yeah. And I have no, and first, let me say, I have no problem in anyone asking me that question. Why I'm single, how many people I've slept with. I have no qualms, issues, or anything answering that question because I understand now why that question is important. Or rather, I understand the mentality behind that question. You want to know why your partner, potential partner, has had so many failed relationships. Now, I was explaining it to somebody last night that there's only so much blame you could put on multiple failed relationships. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Common
I will tell
denominator.
you, I will tell you, me personally, I am responsible. Every relationship for me that has failed, I am partly responsible. Sometimes I am, it varies, but I am partly responsible. Yeah. Um, in terms of not understanding what they really required in the relationship or not understand or ego, miscommunication. There's so many things that went into my failures in relationships. So therefore, I want to know why your relationships have failed. Are you an insecure person? Are you a person that don't communicate well? Are you a person that is unfaithful? Are you a person that runs at the first sight of a challenge or an argument? You understand these? And you were talking about it earlier, right? Women want a certain level of security and stability in finances. Men don't necessarily need that, especially a man that is self sufficient financially. What a man needs is stability and security emotionally. Let me say that again. Men want stability and security emotionally.
I
We
think
do
you got
not,
to clarify that.
right? We don't, men are not, we are not quick to be emotional. We are not quick to be vulnerable. We are not quick to, the world already given us a bunch of foolishness. We usually internalize or we usually find it hard to express. Yeah. And to that end, we strive for a balance. It is all about balance. We want stability, security in someone we're dealing with. For example, If you have a partner, everything else is going good, but she nags. She, well, you ain't carry out these garbage yet. You man ain't trying to. He gotta go to work, come home. You gotta go to work, come home. Your energy is at 10. My man coming home, literally having been a 10 all day. My man want to be at a 4. My man want to be at a 3. A 3. Drink beer, watch some games, spend some time with his woman. Yeah? But she on full tilt. Yeah? No. The man ain't want none of that action. And as much as I am saying men and I'm saying women and I'm putting it in a context because I'm speaking from a perspective of a man, no one wants that. Everybody wants a stable and secure environment emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, all the leads, as you would say.
All the leads.
Therefore, a man is asking you in that question basically several different questions under that. Are you sexually? What's your sexual prowess like? Are you are you someone that likes having a huge sexual energy, right? There are so many things. Wait, I don't know if everybody's still seeing us. I'm seeing something, but waiting for live stream. I hope the stream is still going. You all can let me know if you all still hearing me or not. Okay, we're reconnected again. But yeah, the man wants to know several different things. Your sexual prowess, your sexual history. Are you a woman known to the streets? Are you a woman that shuts down or runs at the first sign of trouble? Are you a woman that is willing to stick it out? You know what I mean? Are you a thing? And I realized that that question is not a good question because, as you like to say, we like sexy questions. We like sexy talk. Nobody, no woman I know. Well, don't let me say that. Let's say I am now meeting someone. We know trying to gel and mesh. Nobody want to hear me come and ask. So, what kind of traumas you trying to heal from? Or,
Yeah.
obviously, you would have had many different relationships, especially in Barbados. Everybody know everybody business, right? It ain't hard
Yeah.
to access.
That is
So
not
it's
a
like,
daily
yeah,
question.
you were you were married. You Derek were married. I meet a woman, and it's like, yeah, you were married before. What happened there in that marriage? You've been in several different relationships before. Why are you now single? What has happened
Yeah.
in those relationships? Yeah, nobody wants to. That question to me is more confrontational than how many people you slept with. If somebody asked me, yo, yeah, I know you had X body and I know you had Y body and I know you got this. For example, I have a son. Yeah, I didn't manifest him through thin air. He came from somewhere. So
Yeah.
people would say, what happened there? What's going on there? Yeah. I may not want to answer that. I may want to answer real good with how many people I had sex with and when's the last time I had sex. I would be more willing to answer that
Yep.
than speak
Digging
about
up your own business.
digging up like the skeletons. Like, okay, yes, it was my fault, but I don't communicate well. That I do not communicate well. That is a flaw I have as a man, as a
Hmm.
person. I do not express myself well within the context of feelings, emotions, etc. Yeah, and I'm working on that. I'm aware of it, and I'm working on it. Therefore, why are you single? How many relationships have you had? How many of them were love? Why are you single? It's only so much a man could do. A man could cheat on you, a man could beat you, a man could horn you, a man could do all these things. Communicate, you don't give good sex, you can do all these things. But what was your responsibility in the demise of your relationship? Because no relationship, well, let me say no. Very few relationships end and it is not your fault. And I talking about the extremes like abuse, lack of ambition, going back on your like you kind of because at first you're gonna have these conversations. Yeah, babe, I'm ambitious. I started my own business. But I see the business plan. It's 2 years. Yeah, it's 3 years. You ain't registering a business. I ain't seeing a movement. Yeah. So what is the reason you are both single? So
Yeah.
that's my standpoint. Let me read some comments because people here
Yeah.
chat getting so hard though. Um, let
Back
me
it up. Back
go.
it up.
Yeah, let me back it up. Back it up. Right. So, seriously, lack of understanding. This is from Kevin Seeley. Seriously, lack of understanding and middle ground that's ignored. Some females want to be wine and dine. Some want the real you. Skip the pretense. Natalia, why do some men and women decide not to be upfront in the first place when cards are on the table from the beginning? How can there be any misunderstanding? it may be a person is up front, nobody is lost. Yeah, and Celia, again, funny enough, it's not how they want to take it. Let me decide if I want to ride or die with you. Leave nothing for people to throw in case do break us. Jannard, he said not Ram get me, but I'm not sure what you talking about. Ramel cry. Mario is applauding. Ramel with the ones, yes. Nikita, my girl Nikita. Are you a person that shuts down? Exactly. Are you a person that shuts down, push away your partner, etc.? Like these are the questions. These are the answers we need because we don't want a situation where we have a disagreement and I gotta be worried. This woman, I know this woman is a woman that she's step out. Yeah, she's hard fast. So don't let me bring up the fact that that conversation we had. Yeah. So you want that ease in all the leads. You want the ease of communication, the ease of feeling comfortable and safe. Women want safety and security. Men want that too. We want to feel safe with a woman. We're not
only
saying
that,
that we
Neil, from a more ego, protecting your ego as well, keeping your ego safe. Now, coming back to the same safety you're talking about. I think my guy Chad here mentioned it yesterday. You don't want to know that you taking out what you assume is your queen, and then when you drive around the road, somebody say, "Yeah, who's that? He got she. Yeah, he ain't know that this body and that body and this that going down the line." You know what I mean? So that is why a man would ask a question like that. I had a conversation only yesterday with a married woman, and I asked her what was her husband's requirements of her to be his wife, because he could provide. He could provide for her. And I asked her, if you were known to the streets, would he have made you his wife? And she said, point blank, no. Point blank, no. What could she bring to the relationship? And she's not exactly struggling, but she said something like time. She had the time. She had more time because of what her job is. She had more time to be able to deal with children, prepare a meal. And this is not a case of her being barefoot and pregnant by any stretch of the imagination. This is a professional woman, right? But she is the person preparing meals for the family, fetching and carrying children and stuff like that because he's at work. He's tending to his business. So she's the person who has that role. So it's just a matter of the roles. And she said point blank, she brought different things to the relationship. Money was not one. Her degrees, that wasn't a criteria. Her vehicle at the time wasn't a concern of his because he didn't need that. As you said, that's safety, that's stability. Knowing, yeah, this my girl in Lusa walking about the place. I safe here. Now, before I go any further, because I know there's be some women who will be either watching now or watch down the road who will be concerned about the fact that, there's a double standard, a man could knock boats, and do we like, and got as many women as he want, and he's applauded for it, and women can't do that. I saw one, when I made reference to Chad's comment earlier yesterday, and somebody made a response that she has agency over her parts. And that's fine. Yeah. But we need to understand that the double standard does exist. The double standard exists. Whether we like it or not, the double standard exists, and we just got to work with it, right?
I also, too, hold on, and not to cross you, but it's very important to understand that you and me, we did not come up with this double standard. This happened way before us.
Before we came and found it, we're going to leave it.
Exactly, yeah. I just want to clarify that because I find these sort of things, they attack us personally. Like, yeah, one of me.
Yeah.
Right? I don't agree with
comments about us, doing this show, but nobody's perfect. We've put our own personal history on this platform before. So it is no big thing to me. I don't think you are particularly bothered by it either. Neither of us is. To let everybody know, we are just trying to provide a platform, as we said earlier, for that discussion. So, with that, having said that, the double standard does exist. We know this. We know this. The double standard exists, and that is just how it is. And just so we clear, so that we understand how the double standard impacts women, because this is how men think about it. Women control access to sex. If a woman says no, that's it. No. Women control access to sex. Men control access to relationships and marriage.
Hold on a minute. Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother.